Hey guys, Max Clausen, and we're gonna be going over my virtual world deck profile today. I've been fiddling around with this deck again because it recently got some new attention thanks to the XC's armor cards, and I've been trying those out, and that's gonna be a separate build for later. If you guys want to see that, be sure to let me know in the comments. But today we're just gonna be going over how I feel the deck plays and the decent build that's been working for me relatively good. And from the thumbnail, you may see the one card that you're gonna be like, oh yeah, you can make that in here. So without further ado, we're going to be showing you the main extra, and we actually have a side deck underneath. So with all of that information out the way, let's get into the profile. Introductionary stuff, rather. We got the 3 Virtual World Lily. We have the 3 Lao Lao, 3 Lulu, 2 Nyan, and the 3 Gigi. The very standard backbone virtual world deck build up. No more, no less. You're gonna be running all of these at these max amount. You can in a world play this at 3 if you want to go with the Pot of Desires route for this deck, which isn't always a bad idea, because you want to get more cards and advantage. But this card, if it was much better, it would just always be played at 3, very likely. But as it's not, we playing it at 2. Hopefully we get more support for this deck in the future, but I don't really see it being a thing. But Konami did release a rank 9 without us even knowing, so maybe there's hope. Next up, for more of the virtual stuff, you'll play the 3 Qinglong, the 2 Kowloon. These are the very important cards you run. And for the traps, you play the 2 Chuche, along with the 1 Jianwu. Gotta max out the deck rarity, by the way, but there's no problem playing with the commons if that's all you got. All this lineup of spell and traps is literally all we have, so hopefully we get more spells and traps. But this is your most important card. It's your searcher, and while it's on the field, you can banish a virtual world card from your graveyard and target a face-up card on your opponent's side of the field and negate its effects, even if this leaves the field. So even if they pop it, that card will still be negated. And while it's in the graveyard, banish it, add a virtual world monster, then you discard a card. For Kowloon, it just places any of these 4 up onto the field. It has other effects, but they aren't relevant. But if you have 2 or more gates on the field, all your monsters gain an attack boost. If you have 3, you send the top 3 cards of your deck to the graveyard. And 4, you can special summon 4 virtual world monsters from your graveyard. Or was it 3? It's been a while. Up to 4 virtual... Oh, from your extra deck. Okay. Yeah, it's been a while, so... that effect is irrelevant till we get more continuous spell and trap cards. So, yeah, that's the virtual world lineup of cards. Now we get into the supporting engines. For the supporting engine, we are playing the adventurous stuff. So we have the 1 Wandering Griffin Rider and the 3 Water Enchantress. Yeah, if you've seen any adventurer token build, this is a very basic stand-up. You can play Illegal Knight if you want to have more of a control-based focus of the deck. But these are just here to combo out getting your other stuff, which would be one of your 2 Rite of Aramasir, which Aramasir, once activated, gets you Fateful Adventure, and Fateful Adventure eventually gets you into Wandering Dracoback. Aramasir summons your token, and if you don't have Fateful on the field, you place it face up on your field. Fateful, when you summon a monster, you can... When you summon a monster, you can add one card. You can add the equip spell, basically. And once per turn, you can add 1 monster that lists adventure token in its card text, and then you discard a card. So in the combo world, you summon something, activate this to search out this. You use this to search out a griffin and discard this. And once this gets discarded to the graveyard, it can equip onto your adventurer token. When there, it has the effect where the adventurer token cannot be destroyed by battle once. And once per turn, you can compose one of your opponent's monsters back to the field. And Griffin Rider is basically your Omni Negate by shuffling itself or any other thing back to your deck. Last up for the monsters, we do play the 3 Castera Fenrir. This card just gives so much pressure. It's ridiculous how this card is still legal at 3. And if you have any deck that can just freely, like a free Cyber Dragon, just play this. It's literally no downsides to it, except the only downside being you have to have no monster on the field. So first turn, drop this. They have to respect it. You can search out itself, which is busted, and when it attacks or your opponent activates and resolves a monster effect, if this is still a face-up on the field and not negated, you can banish an opponent's card. So pretty crazy. That's it for all of that. So now for the supporting stuff, we have the 3 E-Telly because E-Telly works wonders for this deck. We have the 2 Triple Tactics Talents. And the 1 Call by the Grave to stop our opponent from ashing us, from veiling us, drolling us. Kinda slows us down, but not entirely. But after that, that's the entire main deck. Let's go into this extra. It's a full 40 cards main. We play the 1 Gaia Starter's Charger, the 1 Cloud Beast Malong. If you don't have this card, I do recommend picking it up or seeing if somebody has extras they can just give to you, because this card is just so it's common, so it shouldn't be that much. But this card on summon, special summon rather, you can increase or decrease its level by 1. So it can become a level 7 to help with your level 10 synchro plays, or it can become a level 5 to help with level 8 synchro plays. Or you can just leave it as a level 6 and then just keep going from there, which is usually more beneficial. Then you have the Coral Dragon and the Jiu. Both of those are very for the basic level 6s you would play. Now for our 9s, Vermilion Dragon Mech and Shen, basically once per turn, card remover for your field. And Omni Macrocosmos, and gets your banished stuff back whenever you declare an attack. Next up, we have the 1 Baron de Fleur, because we can make this with our Castera Fenrir, or even with this, which is even more beneficial because this will very much be the 5th summon, so even if they have a nib, they can't even do it anymore. Next, we have the Math Mech Final Sigma. Flunderies just cries to this, and any other deck, if they don't have anything over 3,000, they can't get over it if it's in the extra monster zone. And then we are being a scumbag and playing this card because we play the Crimson Dragon. And if you didn't notice, both of these have the exact same level. So, on your opponent's turn, just use his effect, target that, summon this, their turn is completely over. And then you're just free to go on for game there, because 4,000, 33,000, all you need is something else, which you'll likely have Shen in a perfect hand. For our XCs, we have the Evil Zoalars for more for more monster negation. The Ptolemy M7 for getting things back. The Utopia to lower things to 0. The Gaia Charger just to rank up on top of Laws once he's finished, when he uses his effect, or this, or even Utopia once everything has been lowered. And then the Zeus, because why not? Anything that has XCs, you can play Zeus. Or you can play Sky Typhon in place of this, because aside from these 3, none of your other monsters are affected by Typhon. So that's another monster you can put instead of Gaia Charger or Zeus if you don't have it. That's that for the extra deck. And now we will go on to the side deck. Side deck is pretty basic. I choosing to play the 3 Ghost Ogre because it's summonable / searchable with E-Telly, so why not play it? And it can get rid of things like continuous purely cards or other monsters, so what have you. We have the 3 Nibiru. We got the 3 Spellbound, pretty good card. Anything your opponent currently controls on the field, flip this up. They can't use it for anything, basically. You can't tribute, XC, synchro, etc., etc. So everything and anything dies by this card if it uses an extra deck or anything else, what have you. Next up for a cute tech pick, just because it's got a rare, it got reprinted, still in the same rarity, ridiculous, but this is still the original printing. Got the 3 Gravity Collapse, tribute off a synchro monster. When your opponent summons something, negate that summon, destroy it, and then your opponent can no longer summon for the rest of the turn. So having this alongside Calamities is pretty much game ending for your opponent. You obviously would tribute off Shen because Shen can just bring itself right back, or anything else that you just have sitting on the field extra that you aren't using. And then for the last 3, we are playing the Evenly Match. You can replace this with Anti-Spell if you so choose, but I figure if you're playing Evenly Match, then it doesn't really matter if you have Anti-Spell because it just gets rid of everything on their fields. But that is going to be it for my Virtual World deck profile. Let me know what you guys think, what you would change, what you would add, what you would play this deck with, because in all honesty, Virtual World is one of those decks that can use a lot of help, just for the simple fact that the deck is good, don't get me wrong, but the only downside is that a lot of your plays, like your spell and trap cards from the graveyard, the Queen Long and Zhang Wu require you to discard after you use your effect, so I feel like running hand traps isn't really the best thing in this deck. I mean, you can still run the Ash in an argumentative sense. You can run the Ash, but when you use Queen Long after you search, you got to discard a card. Or when you use Zhang Wu, you can Monster Reborn some Virtual World monster, but you have to discard a card. And if you don't have a hand, then you can't even use those effects. Well, you can use this, but then you have to discard whatever. I mean, you guys get what I'm saying. Goddammit, like, this deck is good. It's fun. It's one of those little rogue decks that you can catch people by surprise with. But if this deck doesn't really have it has a decent grind game. I mean, I have grinded some games out, but there are just other things that can make this deck work. Like, you can put Skill Drain in the deck. That's an idea because all your effects resolve in the hand, and then you just attack your monster with big beat stick monsters, which was an idea, but I just decided to scrap it for other stuff. Anyway, that's enough of me rambling at the end of this. I just always want to think about how to improve this deck, but it's always just so limited. It's a shame. Anyway, if you guys enjoyed this video, please be sure to give this video a like, subscribe to this channel for more content, and share this video with other like-minded people that play Virtual World or Synchro Base. So if you have any other ideas for like level 6s, level 9s, 12s, rank 6s, 3s, all that kind of stuff, be sure to leave that down in the comments, and we'll catch you in the next deck profile. See you later, guys.